This is going to be a walkthrough of the user interface for the Roku Streaming Stick 4K. I'm going to be referencing buttons on the remote here, so hopefully if it would come into focus. So I'll be referencing back, home, directional pad, OK, the asterisk for the options, and possibly this. It does have the voice command, which we will talk about a little later. So when you first start your Roku device, you're greeted with this. This is your main page here. You can see upper right, it shows you the time as well as the options. Options is grayed out right now because you can't do anything with it. And it will also let you know how many channels you currently have. In my case, I have 28. Hitting the right arrow on the directional pad brings you over to your channels. Now think of these as your channels or applications. Roku calls them channels, but it's pretty much how you stream your media. Now you'll notice if I come back over here, this is a rotating box of ads. You cannot get rid of this, so just know that as you cycle back and forth, this will change. Now, if you press the asterisk key on your Roku remote, you will be brought into this menu. This menu will allow you to, as you can see, close the menu, give feedback based on this channel, check for an update for just this specific channel, remove the channel, or you can move the channel, or you can rate the channel. Now, if you move the channel by pressing OK on your directional pad, you can move it left to right, up, down, however you like, and then you click OK to lock it back into place. Each of these will be accessed by pressing the OK button on your Roku remote. And you can see right up there that the options is now white so that you can use it. Pressing up will bring you to the last items. So instead of having to scroll to get to your bottom, you can just jump right from the first row to the bottom by pressing up on your directional pad. From here, they have added via the new OS a quick channel add button right there, which brings you into the Roku channel store, which we'll be touching on because it is actually located on the left-hand menu there as well. So we're not going to wait for that to boot up. They have also added a turn off feature right from here. So instead of having to click the power button, which I didn't reference on the top of the remote this time, you can just navigate here and power off your TV. So if you don't have one of the fancy Rokus with the power button on it, this is how you can do it. You will also see here that it is showing that I am on 28 of 28, but if we come down here, see 5 of 28. That will change as you navigate. So I'm going to hit the home button, which will bring us all the way back to our home because that is what we were currently on. It is home. Coming down the left-hand menu, you've got featured free. Very good if you don't want to have to actually spend money to watch videos. Obviously with Hulu, Netflix, things like that, you'll have to pay for, but in this area, you don't. You can either hit OK or the right directional button to log yourself into this particular option. We're just going to hit the right directional button. And from here, you can see featured free content up here at the top, House Hunters, Cold Case, Batman. So this is showing you, and in fact, if you look right there, it's on the Roku channel. This one is on Sports and Media. This one's on the Roku channel. This one's on Tubi. So it's aggregating a lot of the free content that you can get on your Roku. You'll notice that each of those keeps changing. That is always going to be something free that you can do. So that back button on the Roku remote is what featured free is. My feed we'll get into a little later only because the option to do so is located later. But what this will do is allow you to see new content that you have marked that you want to know about. So in this case, Game of Thrones, it's letting me know, hey, I've got 3 new things in my feed. If I click on Game of Thrones by selecting the OK button again, it's showing me that there is new ways to watch this. Roku channel for free, or HBO Go with a subscription, or HBO Now with a subscription, or I can get it from Apple TV. So it's going to aggregate all of those new things that you tell it you want to watch. Coming down to Movie Store by Fandango. So you'll notice that there's Movie Store by Fandango and TV Store by Fandango. Again, right arrow or OK brings you into these options. You can remove these 2 options from the side menu. I'll show you how to do that a little later. But coming across to the right, you can see new to buy, new to rent, keep your resolutions. I mean, it breaks it down and you can see the changing over here on the side. So hypothetically, if we come over here And Pursuit of Happiness, it shows you right there, $2 rounded up. Rotten Tomatoes, Popcorn, shows you when it came out, the year, and the runtime. So I'll do that for all of these. So we're gonna hit back, and we're going to hit back one more time, and I'll show you. It's very similar for the TV shows by Fandango. Again, I'm not a Fandango user, but this is here so that you can, if you are a Fandango user, can peruse Fandango. So here you go, life-changing television. We're gonna come down. We don't have a watch list, like I said, because I'm not a Fandango member, just like I don't have anything in my library. So party time TV, now we're gonna do top 50 TV shows, because here we can come in and we can go to Game of Thrones, and you can see if I click OK, it's gonna bring up Game of Thrones, it's gonna give you a little synopsis over here, and then you could scroll through your seasons, and if you wanna pick season 5, it's gonna bring you into season 5, give you a little poster there, and you can select your episode and figure out how you wanna pay for that. Now, I will hit the home button only because I would have to cycle back through several menus to get back to this side menu over here. Here we have searching. So, searching, you can search for a movie, an actor, or you can also use the voice on your remote. I will say you can hunt and peck, or this is compatible with the Roku mobile app, review over there in the corner, so that you can type it out on a keypad instead of having to use this. Or, in my case, I'm going to use the voice remote, Evil Dead, and we're going to give that a chance to go and look for it. And here you go. It brought up Evil Dead. So it shows you a bunch of movies. Now, if I hit back, and we're going to do a different search, Mark Hamill. Notice this time I'm looking for a actor. Now, obviously the actor was in several different things. So here, you can just cycle through all of the things that he was in. And if we wanted to, we can hypothetically come down here and do, here he was a voice actor for Scooby-Doo. We're gonna hit the right button, and that's gonna show us extra information. You can see you get a nice little background there. And then where you can do it. It is included with your Netflix subscription, or you can rent it from Google Play or one of these other services. So that's a nice added feature, and if you have the voice remote, which you should with this particular Roku, I would highly recommend using that over the hunting and pecking mechanism. And here you're gonna see me cycle back, because this hunting and pecking, it's gonna take you a while to look for anything. But you can see over here that because I selected Scooby-Doo, it shows up in my recent searches, while Mark Hamill and Evil Dead did not, because I did not actually select that particular thing. So if we come back and say, Mark Hamill, if I actually select him as an actor, it will show his pretty much filmology as opposed to anything that he was credited with, which is what showed up before. But coming back, I want to show you that even from the home page here, Mark Hamill, as long as you're using the voice search, you can do it from anywhere within the Roku app itself. So we're going to come back all the way to home because we were on search right here. Next is streaming channels. So that channel store, which was located in the menu at the home page, that's pretty much what this is. It's going to let you pick your channels to view with this. And I do know that the load times are a little concerning. I'm currently having a little issue with my ISP, so the load times for you should not be this bad. But here you can see featured content. If I come over here, here's featured content. It's going to show you the rating. I don't want to do, we'll do HGTV as opposed to QVC. But it'll show you the rating for this particular channel. It gives you a little synopsis. If we hit the OK button, it can say add the channel, or we can view screenshots of this channel, which we're going to do. And of course there are no screenshots for the channel that I picked, so we're going to go pick a different channel. Tubo. View screenshots. Here we go. Screenshot. Pesky ISP. Different screenshot. Different screenshot. Different screenshot. So doing that will give you an idea of what the channel interface would look like before even adding it to your Roku device. Now, it does aggregate into several different key areas. 4K, which I really wish I had a 4K TV, but someday. News and notables, most popular, top free, again, nice area to pay attention to. Cable alternatives, and another search. So here you can search for a channel as opposed to searching for a movie or a particular artist. Now, the crux of your Roku device, the settings, because, well, it does work right out of the box. However, there are some things that you're going to have to do, or at least maintain a working understanding of to make sure that this operates correctly. First being is our network. We're going to come over here. You have About Network, Check Network Connection, Set up Network Connection, or Bandwidth Saver. So About obviously will tell you about your network connection. The Setup connection, well, you only get wireless with this, so there's nothing to set up. If you had a wired Roku, again, the Ultra that I did over there has a wired. You can select between different ones there. And Bandwidth Saver, on or off here, if you use a remote. So this is pretty much a nag screen that will show up if you haven't used or haven't played with your Roku in 4 hours. Remote and device, pair a new device, or we can come down here and see information about, our remote, including battery level, and my camera does not like that for some reason. Pairing a new remote, if you got a new remote, this is where you would come and do it. Themes. Now this is interesting. You'll notice that this is the default purple theme that comes with pre-installed on all Rokus. You can come over to Browse Themes, and again, the load is just horrible on some of these. But if you wanted to change the way that your Roku looked, you can choose one of these other themes. And since it's still kind of around the winter time for me, I'm going to select this winter one. You can, for all of these, set as theme, remove theme, view screenshots of this theme, or rate this theme and give feedback. So if you wanted to know, again, what it looks like before actually installing it, that's what it would do. And you'll notice that it changes all of the menus to match that theme. So we're going to go back because we actually are just going to use that screenshot as our theme. Custom settings, we're going to click into this. Enabled featured themes. So what that is around Christmas, around New Year's, Halloween, major US holidays, they change, Roku, the background without you having to say anything. It's kind of nice. You don't have to enable that if you don't want to, but I leave it on because it's a nice little feature. Coming down, Screensaver. You can browse screensavers, again, either selecting OK or the right menu. They have expanded upon the screensaver offerings since last I've been here. Normally, they leave it on this one, which is a rotating marquee of notable Hollywood paraphernalia. Just keep in mind, since this one's moving a lot, it does use a little more electricity than you might want. But hypothetically, you could come down here and say, preview screensaver, which without having to wait, because there is a timer that you can set, will let you preview what that screensaver looks like. So there you go. This is a screensaver, and it might not be as easily noticed on the camera, but it is slowly zooming in. And we're just going to back that out, and I'm going to go back to the scrolling marquee. Oop. Well, I'll give you an example of what the scrolling marquee looks like as my camera dies focusing. All right, so this is the scrolling marquee. This one in particular, the reason I wanted to show you is we're waiting for it. There are several of these, which are ads that are pre-populated into the scrolling marquee, which is part of the reason I don't like it, because if you happen to try and wake up your Roku, do not hit the OK button, because if one of these scrolling marquees is on the screen when you hit OK, it's going to bring you into that channel and try and preload it onto your Roku device. No, 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 Roku, I don't like that. So if you're going to get out of this particular screensaver, you're going to hit the back button or the home button. In my case, I'm going to hit the back button. And I'm going to set that back as the screensaver only because my wife, for whatever reason, likes that one. And under that, we have change wait time. So if we click on this, it's just how long before the screensaver kicks in as my thing decides to not focus. All right, display type. Clicking into this, you can select auto detect 720. I mean, you can go all the way up to your maximum 4K device. Again, don't have a 4K device sadly, so cannot test that. Accessibility, there are a lot of accessibility options. I'm not going to go through them all, but I just want you to know they are in here. You have caption mode, off, on reply, or always on. Caption preferences, you can select your preferred language, and then caption style, you can delve into that. There are a lot of styles that you can choose from. Audio, menu volume. So what this is, it's actually that little ba-doop or clicking sound. You might not hear it because I have a lapel mic on, but that's what that is. You can change that. So hopefully you heard that. Audio mode. I just do it, leave it on auto stereo. Again, it comes out of the box like that. Audio preferred language, again, you can select. And HDMI, I have it auto selecting. You can come in here and do extra things. This is really one that you should not mess with unless you actually know what you're doing. So that's audio. Home screen. So this, again, is where I said you can remove featured content. So if you don't want featured free to show up, you can come over here and hide that. Or you can come down here to the Fandango movie store and hide that. And shortcuts, we're gonna leave, but I'm gonna bring all the way back to the home button so that you can see I've tightened up that menu a little bit. So we're gonna come back to settings. Next is your payment method, which actually does show a little bit of your payment method. It shows the last 4 digits of your credit card. Really wish they wouldn't do that. There's no reason to have this in the Roku. They never used to have this. And I'm kind of upset it's there now. So payment method, you can update directly from the Roku. Don't. Privacy is a really important one, but my camera does not want to seem to focus. All right, we're gonna back this up. Privacy, this is under advertising. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. It does not really want to, but this is important. You want to come over here to this one that says limit tracking. You're going to turn that one on because that means that they're not going to be able to target advertisements towards you, and you can reset your target identifier if you wanted to from here. Microphone, you can choose what happens. So if something's going to access your microphone, meaning on the remote, you can say prompt me, always allow, or never allow. I prefer prompt so I know what's happening. Same thing with channel permissions. If you had allowed any specific channels to have permission to your information, you would come in there and be able to reset it. Help, this is something new. You need to know something, it's right here. They've got launch Roku, because this is a tips and trick channel. So you can come in here and check out if you have problems with your Roku in any way, shape, or form. It's a general FAQ type thing. Last, we're going to come down here to system. You have about, which again has some sensitive information. Time, you've got your location, and then format, again, coming over here will allow you to change it. You have set automatically or set manually. I would just suggest leaving it set automatically. Control of the device, you've got one touch, which will mean if your TV detects power from the Roku device, it will automatically prompt you to switch to the Roku device. Language, again, plethora of languages that you can choose from. Screen mirroring, you can come in here and set up your screen mirroring. Again, prompt always or never. And then screen mirroring devices, none. Or you can come in here and set up your mirrored device. System update, it shows you the last time it checked and then the last time it actually updated. If by whatever reason it's not doing it automatically when you turn the Roku on, which it is supposed to do, you can come in here and update your Roku. System restart, just that, you can restart your system. Guest mode. Turning this on will allow, hypothetically, if I gave this to my mother-in-law, her to sign into her subscription services without overriding my subscription services. It's a nice feature to have if you're going to loan this out to somebody or have the babysitter coming over. Advanced system settings. Factory reset means you will wipe the device and it will be just as it was in the factory. In order to do this, you need to put in a PIN code, which rotates and is actually down there, so you'd have to put that in to actually factory reset it. Network connection reset, well, if you needed to refresh your network connection, this is where you can do it from. Control by mobile app, network access set to default, advanced display settings. So again, these are more of the in-depth features that you shouldn't have to play with, but I'm just kind of showing you where they are in case, for whatever reason, you wanted to know about them. Third-party licenses are just that, licenses and information about them. And that is actually the end of all the things under System, which brings us back to networking. So that's all of our settings. So we are back at home. That was a little longer than I thought it would be, but that is your Roku UI for the Roku 4K streaming stick. If you have any other Roku devices, they're all pretty much the same. So if this is your first one, you can use what you learn here and use it on another Roku device.